In this video, we will look at target audience and the conventions of news media. First, we will look at target audience. We will look at what a target audience is, who uses it, why a target audience is important to understand, and how can you determine the audience of a media artwork. Target audience is the particular group at which a product, such as a film or advertisement, is aimed. Target audience is used in a variety of fields such as books, news programs, movies, documentaries, songs, advertisements, video games, podcasts, websites, etc. The way a piece of work from any of these fields is presented will be determined by who it is aimed at reaching. Creators of media artwork need to identify the particular group of people they want to target with their work. By doing this, they can create a piece that is focused on the specific needs of that selected group of people. For example, a children's magazine and an adult's magazine might have a story on the same topic one month, but the way that topic is presented will be very different in each. This is because the target audiences are not the same. Therefore, all creative decisions such as the language used, the images, the font size, the colors of the backgrounds, etc. will all be determined by the group of people that piece of media is targeted towards. Here we have two examples, both sports magazines, both covering the same topic, an issue relating to a basketballer, LeBron James. On the left side we have a kids magazine, and on the right side we have an adults magazine. So the target audiences are different. As mentioned, the topics are the same, but because they have a different target audience, the way that topic is presented is very different. If you look at the colors that are used and the fonts that are used and the type of language that's used in the kids version of the magazine, it's very different to the way it's presented in the adults version of the magazine. Another blaring example of this can be seen in the image that's used. The image of LeBron James used on the left magazine, targeted towards kids, is more friendly and inviting, whereas the image used that's targeted towards adults shows a more focused and switched on LeBron James. So again, we have two different magazines covering the same topic, but due to their different target audiences, the way those topics are presented is very different. So when a piece has a focus, it has a better chance of being received by its intended audience. It can still be read, watched, viewed, etc. by all audiences, but the primary focus should be on ensuring the message reaches the specific target audience. If a piece does not have a focused or clearly defined target audience, it may be easily accessible to a broad scope of people, but will be less likely to have the same impact on any particular group because it is too generalized. So in order to determine the target audience of a media artwork, what do? Creators of media art use the techniques and conventions of their art form to present their message, topic, or story in a particular way. By analyzing the way these different representations are made, we can determine the target audience. For example, in news media, a reporter might use more sophisticated language when reporting for a more affluent upper-class audience, and may use more basic vocabulary when reporting for the masses. Additionally, the type of people interviewed in the story might be different in order to be considered more credible by the intended audience. For example, an educated upper-class reader might need to see more statistics or evidence from experts, whereas a less educated person might be more interested in hearing dramatic or sensationalized versions of the truth. Therefore, the reporter needs to know their target audience and tailor their work to suit the needs of that group of people. And us as analysts of media artwork, we need to look at these specific features and how they are presented in order to determine the target audience. Now we will look at the conventions and structure of news media. We will cover what news media is, we'll talk about some general conventions of news media, and what are the common structural features that appear in news media. News media is any form of content that aims to inform its audience of a current or important issue or topic. This may be a television news report, a newspaper, a magazine article, a documentary, a podcast, a blog post, etc. There are many shapes that news media can take, but they all share a common goal: to inform. News media will typically follow a number of general conventions. First, the piece will cover a general topic. This might be child obesity, drugs in sport, cancer research. but then the piece will present a specific angle. This is the way that general topic is presented in a more specific way. For example, fast food advertising leads to increased child obesity, or South Australian cancer researchers need more funding to keep up with the cost of the rest of the country. So as you can see, you have something like child obesity being the general topic, but then the angle that's taken in this particular article is fast food advertising leads to increased child obesity. So it's a more specific look at that general topic. A news media piece is then structured in a way that presents/argues its angle to its targeted audience. The structure of a news media piece will typically follow a similar structure to an essay. It will include an introduction. The reporter introduces the audience to the topic and presents the specific angle that will be covered. Then in the body of the report, the reporter will provide facts and statistics that argue for and against the angle. The reporter will also interview people from each side of this issue to argue each case. And then there will be a summary. The reporter will summarize the data presented and the comments made by the interviewees, then provide a brief summarizing comment at the end of the report. It's important to note that a reporter must remain objective. This means to not be biased. So therefore, in the body of the report, when evidence is being presented and arguments are being made, the reporter presents these arguments through the voices of the people that they are interviewing. So it's important for a reporter not to say, I believe that fast food advertising is causing child obesity. The reporter would say, child obesity is an issue. And then they would use the arguments of an expert to say that fast food advertising is what the cause is. So the reporter remains objective and they present the arguments through the voices of the other experts. So in summary, all media and other art target a particular audience with their work. This creates a focused piece that is more likely to be received by the intended audience. Different techniques and structural features are manipulated in order to appeal to a specific audience. News media is a broad field, but all forms follow a similar structure and conventions. A general topic is covered from a specific angle. This is presented in a similar structure to a typical essay format. So these are all the things that you need to know about news media conventions and structure and target audiences. Now you can watch the documentary that's linked in this week's work and complete the questions relating to this topic. Thank you.